Welcome to the Accident Prevention course. This is Part 5 of the 5-part Orientation and Safety course. The purpose of this course is to show you how to prevent accidents in the consumer's home and how to keep both the consumer and yourself safe from injury. Make sure you have paper and something to write with ready, as you will be asked questions throughout each section of the course. In this module, you will learn about things that increase a consumer's risk for falls and how to reduce the risk. You'll learn ways to keep yourself safe from injury by using proper body mechanics. You'll learn about how to make the workplace safer and what the next steps are for becoming an HCA. By the end of this module, you will be able to describe what to do if a consumer falls, create and use a home safety checklist, demonstrate proper body mechanics, identify whom to contact when you or a consumer is injured. There are 5 lessons in this module. Lesson 1 introduces you to this module. Lesson 2 is about how to make the consumer's home safer to reduce the risk of falls. Lesson 3 shows you how to use proper body mechanics to reduce your risk of injury. Lesson 4 is about making the consumer's home, your workplace, safe. Lesson 5 explains what the next steps are for becoming an HCA. In this lesson, you will learn about safety hazards in a consumer's home and how to create a home safety checklist. You'll learn things that can cause falls and what to do if a consumer falls. You'll also learn how to report concerns. One of the roles of an HCA is to look for safety hazards in a consumer's home. By looking for safety hazards, you can work with the consumer to address the concerns and keep the consumer safe. Here are some safety hazards to look for. Watch for clutter both inside and outside the house. Clutter is a tripping hazard leading to falls. Are walkways clear of things a consumer could trip over? Are outside walkways quickly cleared of snow or ice? Inside the house, look for other trip hazards like cords or oxygen tubing that are across walkways. Are throw rugs removed or secured to the floor with double-sided tape? Do stairways have handrails that are securely attached to the walls? Is there enough light that a consumer can move around the house safely? Is medical equipment stored safely? Does the consumer have a sharps container if needed? Are medications labeled and stored correctly? These are only some of the things you should look for in a consumer's home. Using a home safety checklist like the one here is a way to have a conversation with a consumer about ways to improve their safety. Your home care agency may have a checklist that you can use. If you find concerns about the safety of a consumer's home, talk with the consumer about them. Use problem solving to see if you can come to a safe solution. Remember, the consumer has the right to choose. If you cannot come to an agreement or you are unable to fix a safety concern, report it to the case manager or supervisor. Part of why an HCA looks for hazards in a consumer's home is to identify fall risks. Falls can cause serious injury. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, up to 30% of people who fall have severe injuries, such as hip fractures or head injuries, including traumatic brain injuries. The best way to reduce the risk of injury from falls is to try to prevent falls from happening. One of the biggest causes of falls is when a consumer trips on something. To reduce the risk of trips, here are some general safety tips. Look for uneven surfaces inside and outside where the consumer walks regularly. Keep hallways, walkways, and stairs free of clutter. It's especially important to keep the path to the bathroom free of clutter. Throw rugs are a big trip hazard. Ask the consumer if they can be removed. If not, secure them to the floor with double-sided tape. Having good lighting will help consumers to see items that might block their path. Make sure commonly used areas have strong enough light bulbs. Turn on the light before entering a room. It's also a good idea to have night lights in the consumer's bedroom, bathroom, and hallways. In addition to reducing the risk of falls, good lighting helps both you and the consumer read and see. It reduces the risk of medication errors by making labels easier to read. Pets can also be a trip hazard. Pay attention to where they are when providing care. You can also encourage a consumer to wear non-skid shoes rather than slippers or socks. If the consumer wears a long robe, encourage them to wear shorter ones so they won't trip on it. A room that people tend to fall in more often is the bathroom. This is because a person has to go from sitting to standing or step in and out of the bathtub, increasing the risk of losing their balance and falling. For safety in the bathtub or shower, use non-skid mats. Handrails next to the toilet and bathtub or shower will also help reduce the risk of falls. For consumers who have difficulty standing or sitting, a raised toilet seat will increase safety. In general, make sure that there are handrails next to stairs and that they are secured to the wall. If the consumer agrees, you can put colored tape at the edges of the stairs so they can see them more easily. Keep the items that the consumer uses most on shelves that are easier to reach. Any fall hazards should be reported to the case manager or supervisor. If the consumer falls when you are there, the first thing to remember is that you should not try to stop the consumer's fall. You could seriously injure yourself. Let's learn more about what to do if the consumer falls. Allow the consumer to fall back against you. Keep your feet apart and back straight as you pull the consumer toward you. Protect the consumer's head as you allow them to slide down your body. Ease the consumer to the floor. Bend your knees as you may end up going to the floor with the consumer. After the consumer has fallen, check to see if they're injured. Ask how they feel. If the consumer appears injured and cannot get up, do not try to lift them. Cover them with a blanket and call 911. Do not give the consumer anything to eat or drink. Report the fall to the case manager or supervisor. Refer to your agency's policies for more information on what to do after a consumer falls. Let's learn how to assist a consumer who can get up after a fall. Watch the consumer's body language to see if they're in pain. If the consumer seems unhurt, place 2 sturdy chairs facing each other. Assist the consumer to kneel in front of a chair and place both hands on the seat. Do not lift the consumer. The consumer should be able to do this on their own. Ask the consumer to use the seat of the chair to support them while they bring one leg forward, placing their foot on the floor. Ask the consumer to push up to a semi-standing position. The consumer should be able to do this on their own. Do not lift a person or ask them to bear any weight if they're in pain. Assist the consumer to sit in the other chair. Report the fall to the case manager or supervisor. Let's do a quick review of what you've learned so far. Read the statement, then decide if it is true or false. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide if it is true or false. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then choose the best answer from the choices. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. In this lesson, you learned how to look for safety hazards in a consumer's home. You learned how to use a home safety checklist with the consumer. You learned ways to reduce the risk of falls in a consumer's home and what to do if a consumer falls. This lesson will teach you about using proper body mechanics to avoid injury. You'll learn to use stretching techniques to warm up your muscles and how to lift and transfer items or consumers safely. You'll also learn what to do if you're injured on the job. An HCA's job can include lifting, bending, and transfers. These tasks can injure you if they are not performed correctly. In particular, you can injure your back. Back injuries are one of the leading causes of workplace injury. You need to take care of your back. If your back is injured, it can cause great pain. If your back isn't working properly, it can also affect how you move your legs, arms, hips, neck, and head. How do you keep your back in good condition? You need to use good posture and condition your back. Posture is how you position your body when standing or sitting. Good posture can help prevent or relieve back pain. Take a look at the pictures on the screen. The picture on the left shows bad posture. The picture on the right shows good posture. Let's look at what makes good posture. Good posture is when you have your head up. Keep your buttocks in so your spine stays in line. Tighten your stomach muscles. This will put less stress on your spine. Keep your chest up and your shoulders back. Having rounded shoulders or slouching is a sign of poor posture. If you're standing, keep your knees slightly bent. It's also important to have good posture when sitting. Take a look at the pictures on the screen. The image on the left is bad sitting posture. Notice how his back is not in a straight line and his shoulders are rounded. Good sitting posture means sitting with your back against the back of the chair and keeping your head, neck, and spine in a straight line. Did you know you should have good posture even in your sleep? Sleep on a firm mattress. Don't sleep on your stomach. Sleep on your side with a pillow between your knees. Remember, all of these posture tips apply to consumers. Encourage consumers to have proper posture too. Conditioning your back means keeping it in shape. You condition your back by strengthening and stretching your back muscles along with the core muscles in your stomach. By exercising regularly, you will keep your body healthy and you can reduce weight gain, which is another risk factor for back injury. Moderate exercise will help you get a strong and healthy back. Walk for 10 minutes 2 times a day, building to at least one 30-minute walk a day, 3 times a week. Exercise your back and core muscles at least 4 days a week. Gradually increase the exercise levels to avoid injury. Another great way to condition your back is to stretch. Stretching is especially important before you exercise. Stretch your back at least 5 days a week. To avoid injury, use slow, smooth actions as you exercise. If the stretching causes back pain, discomfort, tingling, numbness, or weakness in your legs, stop immediately. Contact your medical provider if the symptoms continue. Here are some stretching exercises you can use before exercising. First, on your hands and knees, tuck in your chin and arch your back. Then, slowly sit back on your heels, letting your shoulders drop toward the floor. Hold for 45 to 60 seconds. First, lie on your back. Second, pull both knees into your chest until you feel a comfortable stretch in your lower back. Keep the back relaxed. Finally, hold for 45 to 60 seconds. Lie on your back. Then, keeping your back flat and your feet together, rotate your knees to one side. Hold for 45 to 60 seconds. Here are some exercises you can use to strengthen your back and stomach muscles. Before beginning any exercise program, talk to your medical provider, especially if you already have back pain. First, lie on your back with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and your arms at your sides. Then, flatten the small of your back against the floor. Your hips will rise. Hold for 10 to 15 seconds and release. Gradually increase your holding time to 60 seconds. First, lie on your back on the floor. Second, keeping your arms folded across your chest, tilt your pelvis to flatten your back. Tuck your chin into your chest. Then, tighten your abdominal muscles while raising your head and shoulders from the floor. Lastly, hold for 10 seconds and release. Repeat 10 to 15 times. Gradually increase your repetitions. First, get on your hands and knees. Then, raise your left arm and right leg. Do not arch your neck. Hold for 10 seconds and release. Now, raise your right arm and left leg. Do not arch your neck. Hold for 10 seconds and release. Lie on your stomach and place your hands on the floor near the sides of your head. Then, slowly push your upper body off the floor by straightening your arms, but keep your hips on the floor. Hold for 10 seconds. Lastly, relax your arms, moving back to the floor. First, lie on your stomach with your arms folded under your chin. Then, slowly lift one leg, not high, without bending it, while keeping your pelvis flat on the floor. Lastly, slowly lower your leg and repeat with the other leg. First, stand on your right leg with your left leg on a table or chair. Then, stretch your hamstring by slowly bending your right knee. Hold for 30 to 45 seconds. Repeat with your other leg. Aside from your back, it's a good idea to stretch your other muscles before starting work. Watch the short video to learn some other stretches you can do to warm up your muscles. An HCA might have to bend multiple times a day for tasks such as assisting a consumer to eat or making a bed. HCAs may have to help consumers transfer from bed to a wheelchair. Lifting incorrectly is the largest cause of back injury. This is why it's so important to use proper body mechanics. Body mechanics are safe ways of lifting to prevent injury. In addition to helping you stay safe from injury, using proper body mechanics benefits the consumer too. Using proper body mechanics can help you reduce a consumer's fear of falling or of being moved. This will give them more confidence in your ability. Using proper body mechanics will make it less likely that you will drop the consumer, preventing you from injuring them. It will also prevent muscle strain, fatigue, and injury. There are 5 principles of body mechanics that you should use every time you lift a consumer or object. These principles help you use the strongest muscles in your body when lifting instead of your back. The 5 principles are planning your lift, having a wide base of support, using your legs and keeping your back straight, turning your whole body, and staying close to what you are lifting. Let's learn more about each of these principles. Think before you lift. Can you lift the item? Test it first. If it's too heavy, don't try to lift it. You could injure yourself. Know where you're going with the item and make sure your path is clear. Do you have somewhere to set it down? Make sure you can support the load by having a wide base of support. Your feet should be shoulder width apart. Put one foot slightly in front of the other. This helps you keep your balance. You've probably heard someone say, "Lift with your legs, not your back." This is because your leg muscles are stronger than your back muscles. Keep your back as straight as you can when you lift. This means bending at the knees and not at the waist. Bending at the waist could injure your back. Tighten your stomach muscles as you lift. Before lifting, make sure your feet and body are facing the person or item you want to lift. Never twist at the waist when lifting. If you need to turn while carrying something, shift your feet, keeping one foot pointing in the direction you are facing and the other toward where you want to go. Take small steps to turn, keeping your back and neck in a straight line. Stay as close as you can to the person or item you are lifting. Don't reach outward when lifting. Instead, bring the load close to your body and hold it at waist level. Reaching when lifting could cause you to fall and injure yourself or the consumer. If you must lift an item over your head, use a stepladder. This video will show you how to lift items safely.
Never bend from the waist. Keep your back straight. Push up with your legs. This puts less strain on your back and helps you to lift heavier things.
Caring for consumers can be physically demanding. You may have to assist consumers to transfer from their bed to a wheelchair or reposition them in bed. You may have to lift and bend often while caring for the consumer. Every time you lift, bend, or do repetitive motions, you put yourself at risk for injuries. Here are some tasks that have a high risk of injury. Transferring consumers from bed or a vehicle, trying to stop a consumer from falling, bending, lifting, and pushing heavy items. How can you keep yourself safe from injury while providing care? First, always use proper body mechanics. Since lifting in the wrong way is the largest cause of back injury, using good body mechanics will help you prevent injury to yourself and consumers. If you think you can't transfer a consumer or lift a heavy item, don't do it. Contact the case manager or supervisor to see what can be done. Wear proper footwear. Proper footwear is closed-toed, has low, wide heels, and has rubber soles that will help prevent slips and falls. Tennis shoes are a good example of footwear for an HCA. Last, be aware. If you have to bend or lift often or do repetitive tasks, remember that these put you at risk for injury. Be aware of your posture and how you are reaching. If you are injured on the job, report it to the case manager or supervisor immediately. Now let's view a short video about what to do if you're injured on the job.
As a home care aide, you perform physically demanding work. If you get injured, you are not alone. Did you know that the home care injury rate is approximately 4 times higher than the U.S. average for all occupations? When you provide care to your consumer, who may include a family member or a friend, it can be difficult to know when an injury happens at work or how filing a claim can benefit you. When you file a claim, you may be eligible for assistance with medical care, wage replacement, and other benefits. There are many reasons why HCAs may not report a workplace injury. Some worry about losing their job, but it is illegal for someone to be fired due to reporting a workplace injury or by filing a claim. Others think the injury is not serious, only to realize that it still hurts days, weeks, or months later. But you can file a claim up to a full year after an injury. Your agency and DSHS prepare for worker injury by carrying workers' compensation insurance. And if you get injured, the Department of Labor and Industries is focused on getting the information it needs from you. Your consumer will not be involved in this process. The goal is getting you back to work as safely and as soon as possible. So what happens when you're injured on the job? What happens if you live in the place that you work? Here's a good rule to go by. If you are injured performing a task on your consumer's care plan, you can file a claim with Labor and Industries. Some examples of a workplace injury include falling on the job or an injury from a car accident that occurs while running an errand for a consumer. How do you file a claim? The first thing you want to do is report your injury to your case manager or supervisor and your healthcare provider. When seeking treatment for a workplace injury, say, "I was injured at work." Your case manager or supervisor can assist you with filing a report of accident form with L&I and your employer. You'll want to stay in touch with your employer and third-party administrator. They may have questions, so your availability during this time will make the process go smoother. At the Health Benefits Trust, we believe that care begins with you. Reporting a workplace injury is one way to ensure you get the care you deserve.
Let's review what you learned in this lesson. Read the statement, then decide if it is true or false. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide which answers apply. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide if it is true or false. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. In this lesson, you learned ways to keep your back healthy and safe from injury. You learned how to have good posture when sitting, standing, or lying in bed. You learned different stretches and exercises to condition your back. You learned the 5 principles of body mechanics. Plan your lift. Have a wide base of support. Lift with your legs and keep your back straight. Turn your whole body and hold the load close to your body. You can keep yourself safe during risky tasks like lifting and transferring consumers by wearing proper footwear, using proper body mechanics, and being aware of tasks that could cause injury. This lesson will teach you about how to stay safe in the workplace. You'll learn about oxygen, ladder, electrical, weapon, animal, and driver safety. You'll also learn what to do if there's violence in the workplace. Some consumers use oxygen to help them breathe. Certain respiratory conditions like emphysema may require the consumer to use oxygen. Oxygen must be prescribed by a medical provider. Although there are different types of oxygen tanks that consumers can use, the safety tips you will learn apply to all of them. Oxygen by itself is not dangerous and will not cause explosions, but oxygen does help things catch on fire easier and burn faster. Always keep oxygen away from flames or sources of sparks. Candle or cooking flames should be at least 5 feet from an oxygen tank. Anything that burns easily, such as Vaseline, nail polish, oil, or aerosol sprays, should be kept away from oxygen tanks. Consumers should not use them while using oxygen. Smokers should stay at least 25 feet from an oxygen tank. It is best if the smoker is in another room. Why do smokers need to stay so far from an oxygen tank? It's because smokers may not realize they have a source of flame that needs to be kept away from oxygen. Consumers should never smoke while using oxygen. Make sure oxygen is stored in a well-ventilated, temperature-controlled area. Do not store it in a closet or in the garage. Because part of the tank could be damaged, or there could be a safety risk if a tank falls over, tanks should be stored in a rack or chained to the wall. Here are some other oxygen safety tips to follow. If you notice frost on an oxygen tank, do not touch it. This is caused by low temperatures of liquid oxygen in the tank, and touching it could burn you. Make sure that consumers who use oxygen are in a well-ventilated area. If an oxygen tank is in a closed room, it will saturate the surrounding air with oxygen. This makes everything in the room more flammable. A consumer who uses oxygen will have an oxygen concentrator. The concentrator mixes the oxygen in the tank with the air in the room before the consumer breathes it. Getting too much oxygen can cause health issues, so the concentrator is important. Never plug a concentrator into an extension cord or power strip. Always plug it directly into an outlet. Concentrators are sensitive and could fail if these steps aren't followed. Be careful of oxygen tubing. It can be a trip hazard. Straighten it and watch where it lies so no one trips on it. Do not roll oxygen tanks when moving them. Keep them upright. Keep the oxygen supplier's number near the phone or in an easily accessible place so you or the consumer can call if necessary. Check with your home care agency to learn their oxygen policies. Not all HCAs are allowed to use ladders. Know your agency's policy before using a ladder. Here are some ladder safety tips. If you need to reach something, use a ladder. Do not use a chair or boxes. These could collapse and you could fall and hurt yourself. Before using a ladder, look at it to make sure it's not broken. Open the ladder completely, making sure everything is locked. Never stand on a folded ladder. Check the rungs to make sure there is nothing slippery on them. Wear rubber-soled shoes to further reduce the risk of slipping. When climbing up or down a ladder, face it and put your hands on the sides of the ladder. Do not carry anything in your hands when going up or down a ladder. Never stand on the top rungs of a ladder. Make sure the ladder is level and stable. Do not try reaching when using the ladder. You could lose your balance and fall. Move the ladder instead. Put it away when you're finished with it. Electrical hazards can injure or even kill you or a consumer. It's important to observe electrical safety to keep everyone safe. Check cords regularly. If you see the cord for an item is frayed or cracked, don't use it until the cord is fixed. When plugging in an item, make sure the outlet has the right number of prongs. Do not try to put a 3-prong cord into a 2-prong outlet or extension cord. Electrical appliances should be kept away from water. Extension cords should not be used permanently. Never hang anything from an extension cord. Do not run them under rugs. Walking on them can make the cord fray, which could cause sparks. Watch for signs of electrical problems like hot switches, dimming lights, or frequent blown fuses. If you are concerned about an electrical safety hazard in the consumer's home, report it to the case manager or supervisor. Consumers may have firearms or weapons in their home. Some may keep the weapons with them or in the open. If this makes you uncomfortable, try problem solving with the consumer. The consumer could agree to store the weapon when you are there or to get a trigger lock for any guns. If you and the consumer can't agree on a safe solution, talk to the case manager or supervisor. If you are concerned that a consumer shouldn't have access to weapons because of mental illness, dementia, or is confused, report your concerns to the case manager or supervisor. Pet care is not part of your job as an HCA, but consumers you work with may have pets. When dealing with house pets, keep safe by not trying to pet an animal until you know it. Always ask the owner if you can approach the animal. Don't pet dogs or cats who are sleeping, eating, in a vehicle, or if they seem threatening. Watch the animal for body language that it is about to bite or scratch. For example, if the animal's ears are back or if a cat's tail starts to twitch, move away from the animal. Cats and dogs can cause you or the consumer to trip. Be aware of where the animal is and, if necessary, put the animal in another location while you give care. If you are bitten or scratched, immediately wash the wound in soap and water. Washing the wound is the best way to prevent infection. Some bites or scratches, especially from cats, can get infected or cause other health problems. Report any animal bites to the supervisor or case manager. Consumers with animals should practice good hygiene and proper sanitation. This reduces the chances that a pet will infect people or other animals with parasites or infections. Encourage the consumer to regularly dispose of pet waste. There should be no pet waste on floors or overflowing litter boxes. Consumers should not allow their pets on or near places where food is prepared. If there is an infestation of pests, encourage the consumer to take care of it as soon as possible. If you are concerned about the health and safety of the consumer, talk to the supervisor or case manager. You may observe that a consumer is no longer able to properly care for their pet. If you suspect this is the case, contact the case manager or supervisor. Additionally, if you suspect an animal is being abused, you need to report that to animal control. Did you know that the #1 cause of workplace fatalities is motor vehicle accidents? It's important to drive safely, whether you're with a consumer or alone in your car. Here are some simple ways you can be a safer driver. Wear your seatbelt. It's the law and it will keep you safer if there's an accident. Don't speed. Many accidents involve excessive speed. Make sure you have a safe following distance between you and the car in front of you. For every 10 miles per hour you are going, you need 1 car length ahead of you. If you are driving at 30 miles per hour, you need 3 car lengths between you and the car in front of you. Pay attention to the road. Get rid of distractions such as eating or changing the radio. Cell phones are also a major source of distraction. It's against the law to text or use a handheld phone in your car in Washington. Pull over if you need to make or take a call. Don't drive if you're sleepy. Get enough rest. Don't use alcohol or other drugs. They may cause fatal accidents. Be careful at intersections. Other drivers may not obey stop signs or traffic signals. Last, make sure your car is working properly. Check the tires and brakes regularly. Following these simple tips will help keep you and consumers safe in the car. As an HCA, you need to know what to do if you see violent or aggressive behavior and what to do to keep yourself and the consumer safe. Read the care plan carefully. A consumer who has a history of violent or aggressive behavior will have that documented in the care plan. The care plan may also list what to do if you notice these challenging behaviors. Have a plan for what you would do in case violence occurs. Read the care plan carefully. There are ways to tell that a person may become aggressive or violent. Look for these behaviors as warning signs. A person with a history of drug or alcohol abuse and a history of anger or violence may be more likely to become violent. If you hear a person talking about unrealistic fears, being overly suspicious, or blaming others for problems, those could be signs of violence. If the person talks about detailed plans of violence or shows an unnatural fascination with weapons, these are also possible signs of violence. Look also for behaviors like intentionally frightening people, rapidly shifting moods that seem unstable, or a recent change in behavior or appearance. If you notice these signs, report them to the case manager or supervisor. There are certain behaviors that could signal a person is about to become violent or aggressive. Watch for a raised voice, shaking or clenching fists, poking with fingers, being overly anxious, excessive pacing, or angry muttering or glaring at you. Don't ignore these warning signs, or if you have a feeling that something isn't right. It's best to respond early and give the person a chance not to become violent. Sudden violence or aggression can be caused by medication reactions or side effects, an undiagnosed infection such as a urinary tract infection, or by the consumer's existing disease or condition. Always check for a medical reason for violence and aggression first. Work with the care team to get the consumer the medical attention they need. If a consumer becomes violent or aggressive, decide how dangerous the situation is. If you are in danger, find a way to escape. You can say something like, "I need to get something from my car," or another excuse to get out of the room or the area. Once you get away, call for help. If you think someone is in immediate danger, call 911. Other things to remember if a consumer is dangerously aggressive or violent are never to turn your back on the consumer. Back away slowly. Stay away from things that could be used as weapons. Keep away from dangerous locations such as the top of the stairs. If you aren't in immediate danger from a consumer's aggression or violence, stay calm. Show that you want to listen and that you're there to help. Watch your body language. Don't point, cross your arms, or touch the consumer. Move slowly and don't stand too close over the consumer. Tell the consumer that their behavior is making you uncomfortable and that you want it to stop. Find a way to escape in case you need it. Report incidents of violence or aggression to the case manager or supervisor. Remember that you are a mandatory reporter. If you witness or suspect abuse or neglect of a vulnerable person, you must report it to DSHS at 1-866-END-HARM. If you suspect or witness a physical or sexual assault, you must also contact law enforcement in addition to DSHS. Keep consumers and others safe by reacting to signs of aggression or violence early. Let's review the topics covered in this lesson. Read the statement, then decide if it is true or false. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide if it is true or false. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide if it is true or false. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. In this lesson, you learned about how to make the workplace safer. You learned tips for oxygen safety, such as to keep oxygen tanks away from open flames. You learned how to use a ladder safely. You learned ways to make sure the electricity in a consumer's home is safe. You learned what to do if a consumer has weapons that make you feel unsafe. You learned that while pet care is not part of an HCA's job, there are ways to stay safe and keep the consumer's home sanitary if they have pets. You learned tips for driving safely, such as eliminating distractions. Lastly, you learned about signs of violence and aggression, what to do if a consumer becomes violent, and to whom to report it. In this lesson, you will learn about the next steps of your journey to becoming an HCA. This includes basic training and more about the certification process. Once you complete the assessment for this module, you will have completed the 5-part orientation and safety course. To receive credit for the course, call 1-866-483-1397. This is an automated phone line that allows you to let SEIU Healthcare Northwest Training Partnership know that you have completed your training. You will need to provide the last 4 digits of your Social Security number and your orientation and safety confirmation number. Your orientation and safety confirmation number is mailed to you by DSHS within 7 days of your hire. If you don't know your confirmation number, you can get it by logging in at www.myseiubenefits.org. The number is under your name. You can fill out a Contact Us form at www.myseiubenefits.org/contact-us and request the number. You can also call the Member Resource Center at 1-866-371-3200. The next step toward becoming a certified HCA is completing basic training. Training requirements vary depending on your role. First, you'll hear about training for limited service providers, non-DDA parent providers, adult child providers, or respite providers. Then, you'll hear about training for all other HCAs. Fast forward through the section that does not apply to you. For limited service providers, non-DDA parent providers, adult child providers, or respite providers, the next step is to complete the 30-hour basic training. Basic training has 3 parts: orientation to your role, topic-specific training, and skills training. This is an online course that will introduce you to your specific role: limited service provider, non-DDA parent provider, adult child provider, or respite provider. Contact your supervisor or case manager to learn how to sign up for this training. After completing your orientation, you will train on various topics important to HCAs. You will be able to pick from a list of topics and courses that apply specifically to you. The last part of your training is learning the skills of the HCA. This classroom course will teach you basic skills such as washing your hands and putting on gloves. You'll also be able to practice skills that apply directly to your job. For all other HCAs, the next step is to complete the 70-hour basic training. Contact your supervisor or case manager to learn how to sign up for this training. After completing the 70 hours of training, you will need to pass a written exam and skills exam to become a certified home care aide. You will learn more about this in basic training. Please note that if you have a history of drug or alcohol problems, the Department of Health may issue you a restricted license. Call the Department of Health at 360-236-2700 to learn more. In this lesson, you learned the next steps for becoming an HCA. Let's check your knowledge and see what you remember from this module. Read the statement, then decide which answers apply. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide if it is true or false. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then choose the best answer from the choices. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. In this course, you learned how to describe what to do if a consumer falls, how to create and use a home safety checklist. You learned to demonstrate proper body mechanics and identify whom to contact when you or a consumer is injured. Now that you have finished the course, you will take another assessment. This assessment is intended to show you what you have learned during this course. Please complete this 15-question assessment based on the course objectives. You will see questions on the screen. Choose the best answer or answers for each question. If you need more time to complete a question, pause the DVD. After you finish, you can receive credit for completing the course. To receive credit for this course, call 1-866-483-1397. Read the statement, then choose the best answer from the choices. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide which answers apply. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide which answers apply. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then choose the best answer from the choices. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then choose the best answer from the choices. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide which answers apply. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide which answers apply. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide which answers apply. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then choose the best answer from the choices. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide which answers apply. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide which answers apply. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide which answers apply. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then choose the best answer from the choices. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide which answers apply. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Read the statement, then decide which answers apply. If you need more time to complete the activity, make sure to press the pause button before time runs out. Congratulations! You have successfully completed the Orientation and Safety course.